All right, welcome back to the Unframe of Mind show, and this is definitely not another music reaction video.
No. Turn it off. Go away.
This is definitely not another music reaction video to Tom MacDonald's White Boy.
Yeah.
Let's check it out, guys.
Or don't check it out.
Or
because
don't.
It's not a reaction.
That's right.
I cannot feel guilty for that I didn't do, but I can understand the reasons why you think that I should. Yeah, I'm white, but I never put your neck in no noose, and I never burnt a cross or hit my face with a hood. You can't just...
I like how like the all the white kids in the class are like looking at him like, I can't believe you're saying this shit, man. That's fucked up, man. Why would you say that? I mean, we're all thinking it, but damn, we're busy over here feeling in our feels, getting all guilty about our white privilege and shit, and you're over there just like saying out loud stuff you shouldn't be saying.
This is kind of the thoughts that you have, in the back of your mind that you want to say to everybody, but you just don't have the balls to do it, and it kind of it's the shock value of it, so
right.
Label me racist because I'm related to people who did some terrible way back before I was alive. My parents brought me up to treat everyone as an equal. I refuse to feel ashamed because of my pretty blue eyes. And Nazi, white supremacist, anyone who labels me as that because of my family genetics. The hatred for Caucasians is so pathetic.
Okay, so I don't know if are you hearing like the deeper like second layer vocal track going on underneath this, where he kind of has that demonic sound, like. He does
that a lot in his music videos, probably more so here recently, especially with Best Rapper Ever.
Right.
I don't know if you had a chance to listen to that one, but yeah, he's kind of gradually picked that up as his career has gone on, with his a little bit of his darker material.
Yeah,
I love that.
Yeah, I don't know if that's like you said. I guess it's something he does normally, but I just kind of picked up on it as it's interesting the way it juxtaposes what he's actually talking about and the way that people might be hearing him say it. When you hear a white guy saying these things out loud, it almost sounds like, especially in today's culture, it might be some kind of demonic, like something bad is being said right now, and whoa, buddy, what are you saying right now?
Yep.
What are you saying? That's unacceptable.
What is your thoughts so far listening to this? Because this is your first time listening to it.
We just got started, so let's find out. Why would you ask me that? I've got 10 seconds into the song, man.
It didn't just grab your attention.
Shall we?
Yeah.
Nazi, white supremacist, anyone who labels me as that because of my family genetics. The hatred for Caucasians is so pathetic. Go be proud that you're black, but don't hate me for some credit. I'm not the white devil, neo-Nazi cop trying to pull the trigger. You can call me what you want, but I'd still never say the white race as a whole ain't the enemy. There's racist white people, but we're far from that collectively. White boy, don't say.
And there's a lot of truth behind that. There are racist people out there in our society, but collectively, as a whole, racism, in my opinion, is not as big as it was, say, back in the 60s, and even before then. For the ones of us that don't have that racist mentality, that's where you have to kind of come together to combat that sort of thing.
Right.
So,
It's almost like when we grew up. We're talking about our parents taught us to treat everybody like equals. We're all the same. We're just different colors. Right. That kind of narrative was going out, I guess. And as we get closer to today, it just seems like more and more we're hearing this idea that you guys forgot you're supposed to be racist, right? You're supposed to be feeling bad for being white, right? It's like wait a minute, we're kind of being reminded of our guilt that apparently we're supposed to have, and it's like no, I mean the whole point of making progress is that it was shitty back then, but as we moved forward and progressed through time, things do end up getting better. Things do tend to point toward a positive
so like
direction.
you said, collectively we're a lot better than what we were,
right?
In probably the last 40, 50 years.
But I'd still never say the white race as a whole ain't the enemy. There's racist white people, but we're far from that collectively. White boy, don't say that. White boy, oh you so bad. White boy, you wish you were black. White boy, dear white boy. White boy, white noise. Can't say it with my white voice. White boys, white lies. Don't tell me how to see it through my white eyes. If a black man is sipping on some cognac sitting next to me. I don't assume that every black's favorite drink is Hennessy. I don't dislike Tanisha because her first name isn't Stephanie. Not only is that wrong, it's a waste of energy. Ivory or ebony, 45 or 17, we all bleed the same. Martin Luther.
I like the way that it's almost as if you're kind of struggling. I wouldn't really even say struggling. I think this is kind of a situation where these are the thoughts that most white Americans or just white people in general want to say, but they don't know how to go about in doing that. So Tom MacDonald has kind of poetically said this in such a way that maybe it's going to grab your attention to say, hey, wake up. Not everybody is this way. Not everybody is racist, and don't tell me how to see this through my white eyes. Like, as the same with black people. It's like, they would say the same thing, to white people. Don't tell me how to see this through, my brown eyes.
Right. And the whole point of these conversations we're supposed to be having, the ones we have on the show all the time, is just trying to actually understand different people's perspectives. To sit there and say, like, you'll never know what it's like to be me. Yeah, that might be true. But the only way we're going to get there is by having the conversations and, talking about it.
That's where we have
that's where the energy would be more positive,
Yeah, because you always want to try to find out how a certain individual has arrived to a certain place in point in time in their life where they have become racist or they've dealt with racial things. And then it's moving forward, how do you, what have you learned from that? How do you combat it? What things have you used in your life, to be a positive and more uplifting person? And, because I went through it when I was younger, it's like, I don't hang on to that. Yeah. I don't do that. So go ahead.
All right. And play.
Ebony, 45 or 17, we all bleed the same. Martin Luther King or Kennedy. They're angry, I'm reciting the facts. He's white and he raps. He stole the culture right from the blacks. Okay, he's fire, but we lit the flame. He's siphoning gas. So this corny little honky man, the whitey is whack. You let me.
So he's just basically set up this whole scenario to look like Twitter, but...
Pretty much. And everybody in the classroom is what's in his feed.
Right, exactly. I'm sitting there watching this. I'm like, man, this feels an awful lot like I've been here before. Huh? Where
little deja vu.
Where have I seen this before?
Right.
Fucking Twitter, man.
Yeah, I didn't think about that.
Yeah, watch it again. Watch it again. This time think Twitter.
Think Twitter.
Yeah.
Facts, he's white and he raps. He stole the culture right from the blacks. Okay, he's fire, but we lit the flame. He's siphoning gas. So this corny little honky man, the whitey is whack. You letting history perpetuate the hatred within, and then you paint me with the brush you painted slave owners with.
God, I love that line. God, I love that line.
Yeah.
The paintbrush. Yeah. That is. This is what I love about this dude, man. It's just he's so lyrically just good at what he does. That's why he is doing what he's doing, and it's just a true testament of his talent.
This is what I used to appreciate about Eminem back in the day. He was the guy that was. I'm not talking about today. Today he's kind of become this like anti-Trump, social justice warrior type character again.
You better not talk about Eminem on this show because you'll get all the stands coming after us in the comment section. So be careful with that.
That's fine. And I used to listen to Eminem almost religiously. I listened
to a lot of his older stuff.
There's plenty of his songs that I could recite to you right now, word for word, and wouldn't miss a beat. And I haven't listened to him in years. That's how well I knew these songs. Yeah. And it's like this guy was like the counterculture back in the day, and now it seems like Tom MacDonald is now taking that spot, taking that position. The I don't give a shit what you think about me. I'm going to say what's on my mind, and you either like me or hate me. Take me as I am. Take me for what I am.
Do you think that's because he is independent and he's not with a label? He's got the freedom to do what he wants.
It might be. It is. I would say that definitely helps a lot. But this is stuff that I don't think. I'm almost wondering how much of what Eminem was singing about back in the day was influenced by the fact that he had a record label under Dre. Or what have you? I don't know what the backstory is on that, or if there was.
I'm not going to speculate.
Yeah, how much creative license he had to be creative, able to say.
Well, the music industry back then was different than what it is now.
Are you sure, though?
Do you honestly think Tom MacDonald can sit there and pull off a song like "White Boy" with Interscope?
Oh hell no!
With Capitol Records? No, it's not going to happen. So because he is independent, has given us the freedom to hear a song such as this. Yeah, and that's the beautiful part about it. Because if he was with the label, White Boy never would have existed.
All right, let's hear that. Let's hear that line one more time.
So this corny little honky man, the whitey is whack. You letting history perpetuate the hatred within, and then you paint me with the brush you painted slave owners with. Yeah. White boy, don't say that. White boy, oh you so bad. White boy, you
shit. See now he just fucked up. He just fucked up because I mean, look, you know, the whole idea of white people coming and conquering territory and stuff. You know, he just destroyed the whole class. Like he
conquered the classroom.
He's standing on top of it. He's now a colonizer.
I don't think that. I know you're just fucking with me, but to me, it just. This is my interpretation of this scene: is that everything's a wreck.
Yeah,
everything's a mess, kind of like our society. You know, between two races. That to me, that's the. And he's standing on top of this hill of everything that's such a mess, screaming to the top of his lungs that we're not all racist. We can come together. We can, unify everybody if we wanted to.
Right.
And what that looks like, I don't know.
Not to mention that under a label, like he wouldn't be able to do this. He'd have to get a stunt double, to come in and do that.
Don't do that.
All right, here we go.
Sister, an auntie, an uncle, and a grandma that I picture when you're openly hating. And God willing, one day I'll have a kid of my own. I refuse to let you blindly hate my wife and my baby, so go ahead and hate the races. I pray for their extinction. If you want to hate the white people, just make the distinction between the ones who want the best for everyone regardless and the ones who build the system just to smother you with hardship. Stop before you say it. I know what you've been thinking. How's a straight white male in 2018? You're making me the villain by demonizing my race for things I didn't do and decisions I didn't make. No one that I call a friend has ever owned a slave, and neither did our dads or our dads' dads. Sakes acknowledging atrocities were wrongly committed is all that I can offer while I'm wrongly convicted. I would never hate a man for what God gave him in pigments, and I would never plot against him just because he is different. I would never judge a human for the cards he was given or call him lesser than myself because of the race that he's mixed with. White people that you hate aren't your neighbors or lawyers. They're the Rockefellers, Rothschilds, Bushes, and Royals. They're the people who monopolized the water and oil and injected your communities with drugs that they spoiled. Got no patience for nothing.
Damn, that just sounds like exactly what we're always talking about.
Yeah.
You know, like it goes back to the whole divide and conquer shit. You know, these political elites and the mainstream media and things are constantly
the Rockefellers.
They're just constantly pumping into society this idea, this divide and conquer. Y'all need to hate each other so that you're not even focused on what the hell we're getting away with up here. Like, the politicians kind of come off as like these saviors. Like everybody keeps going back to the politicians to try to fix it. Like, oh well, there's just a few bad apples in there. We got to get some new guys in there, But ultimately, it's like these guys aren't there to solve your problem. They're not there to fix the issues. They're there to stay in power and continue down that path of addiction to power.
Yeah.
And if that means dividing everybody else and putting everybody else at each other's throats to do so,
that keeps them in power.
That's what they're going to do.
Yeah.
It keeps them in their power positions, man. And I like how as he's spitting facts, the whole class is still like, you could hear, and we see this all the time with people we talk to and interact with online. No matter how many facts and how many arguments you make, like they just double down in their ideology.
They do,
and they don't hear it. It's like, and they just get more mad at you.
The water and oil and injected your communities with drugs that they spoiled. Got no patience for Nazis. I think they're better off dead. They're fighting hatred with hatred, making the hate more intense. I don't want nothing to do with either side of the fence.
There's a thing right now to where I don't think two sides are hearing each other.
Yeah.
This song was done back in 2018, not too long ago. And it's something that we kind of often talk about on the show today is the fact that if a lot of black people would listen to a lot of white people, I think that you would see a decrease in this stereotypical way of thinking that, whitey's out to get, blackie, because that's not the case.
Yeah.
And I've seen it time and time again, especially on social media. I've seen more white people just wanting to welcome the black community. Well, but I've also, here the last couple of years, and I'm just being honest with you, I've seen a lot of black people, that have been pretty racist,
Well,
and it's not, and I'm not talking negatively about the black community. I'm just saying that
just from your perspective and what you've observed. Right?
Yeah, this is just strictly from social media. This isn't real world stuff. I mean, it is real world to a sense, but this is social media. So you kind of have to take that.
It goes beyond social media.
Yeah, it does.
I've seen in my own personal bubble here is that a lot of the black friends that I used to call friends and have these conversations with, as the rhetoric keeps heating up, at some point, they kind of pick a side. They finally, they're not listening anymore, and they're just, and it's like a lot of people, like guys I hired in with at the company I used to work for, and I've talked to over all the years, and we've had good laughs together and ate meals together, and then, for work, and it's like within the last couple of years, I've been blocked by them, been called all kind of names, and it's just like I'm the idiot, and I'm the racist, and I'm the Nazi, and it's like, hold on now, like I didn't change at all. Like I've maybe
you're like dumbfounded that this is even coming from somebody you thought was a friend,
right? So and I'm seeing, like you're saying, and even in the video here, you're seeing, they're not even just yelling at him anymore. Now they're kind of yelling at each other,
right?
And it's like all these guys, like the guy in the blue leather jacket at the beginning of the video here, you saw, he was with the rest of the class yelling at Tom, but as the music video progresses, you start noticing they're turning on each other.
Yeah,
and it just, it's like that's kind of a very close parallel to what we're seeing.
Like I said, I think if you kind of open up your eyes a little bit from both sides and agree that a lot of us kind of want to have that same, dialogue and get to that same point in life to where, there is a large group of white people, there's a large group of black people that don't want this. But then you do have your racist black people, you have your racist white people. That's just where we're at in society right now. I think right now everything we're going through is just kind of highlight and showcase those kind of individuals because they're popping up everywhere.
And ironically, the people that I'm seeing that are talking shit and falling into that evil white devil bullshit, you kind of look at their social media feed at least, and they're kind of stewing in their own shit, when you get right down to it. And the guys that are not falling for it, they're out there succeeding, kicking ass, getting bigger and stronger, and being very, very supportive and not promotional, very positive in their messaging and stuff like that. And it's like, I'm seeing some of these guys going out there, they quit the job, they're out there doing other stuff, starting their own businesses, succeeding, doing the grind, doing what needs to be, and they're not falling for it,
Well, and it's just,
I wonder if there's something appealing of, when you're already stewing in your own shit and everything seems like crap, it's much easier to blame it on somebody else. And then when you got the media and the elites pointing to Whitey as, there's your enemy, there's the guy you can be mad at and blame for all your shortcomings.
Can you imagine if the tables were turned and the media was saying Blackie was the one to blame for all this?
Oh my God, I can't even imagine.
Sometimes you have to think this way.
I would be pissed off about that.
Right, but sometimes you have to revert back. You have to put yourself in that other person's shoes. And you have to wonder what the reaction would be from the black community if that was the case.
Well, we do kind of see this in terms of, on the Republican side, you saw a lot of people griping about Mexicans. It's the Mexicans' fault and all those illegal immigrants from the South. But how often do they stop and go, well, wait a minute, if we're sitting there asking government to solve the problem that the government caused to begin with, and yet we're mad at the Mexicans? Like I every time I heard that from any of my Republican friends, I'm like, dude, you got to stop blaming them.
Here's the thing:
I would do the same thing in that position.
It doesn't matter if it's race or politics. Everybody wants to find somebody to point the finger at to blame somebody. Blaming somebody is so much easier than tackling the issue and actually making progress.
Taking responsibility for your own shit.
I mean, it's the truth.
All right,
we got way off track and
that's all
long-winded, but
let's continue.
Hey.
They're better off dead. Now fighting hatred with hatred, making the hate more intense. I don't want nothing to do with either side of the fence, so don't blindly attack me for wearing braids on my head. Hate the people who believe you put yourselves in the ghetto. Hate the ones who teach their children you ain't because they said so. Hate the ones who think you're all the same and judge you profusely because the way that you're portrayed on our news and in movies.
Okay,
yeah, right there.
I don't know how this is going to end, but I'm going to be disappointed. I haven't seen this before, so I'm going to be really disappointed if at the end, all of a sudden, all the people in the classroom all getting along and having a good time.
So, have you noticed that the black man standing at the front of the classroom
the teacher
is getting kind of teary-eyed?
Right.
Why do you think that is?
Well, I don't know exactly I don't know if maybe he's just floored at what he's hearing this white boy say, and he's just like, I can't believe I'm hearing this crap. You know, we've been through this already, because he would be like the older person in the classroom that have maybe might have gone through, you know, back when, you know, racism was actually a bigger issue.
Right.
And I'm starting to question even if it was a big issue back then, if it was just the same pattern we're seeing now. Maybe it really wasn't as, I don't know.
No, it was big back then.
Well, I mean,
history has
well,
shown
it became big. I mean, I don't know.
We're talking about segregation, bathrooms,
and all that stuff was government enforced.
Yeah.
Government related.
I mean, we're kind of segregating ourselves now, but not intentionally.
So
it's just we're doing it voluntarily.
If we're just seeing that repeating process, and people 20 years from now are going to start going through the same thing and said, man, I remember how bad it was back in 2021.
You know, it's funny because everybody wants to get rid of statues and get rid of so many things that pertain to our history. Our history is dark. Yeah. But the good thing about our history is we can learn from it. Nobody's learning from this. Nobody has taken the tools. It's like a spin cycle on your washing machine that just never ends. You know, it's crazy.
I'd like to see how this thing's going to end. So let's
judge you profusely, because the way that you're portrayed on our news and in movies, being white and being racist aren't the same, man, I promise. No, it's hard to tell the difference if I'm just being honest. I deserve the chance to show you I'm not part of the problem, and you owe it to yourselves. We got so much in common. White boy, don't say that. White boy, oh, you so bad. White boy, you wish you were black. White boy, dear white boy. White boy, don't say that. White boy, oh, you so bad. White boy, you wish you were black. White boy, dear white boy.
That to me is a perfect example of Twitter. You've made your post on Twitter, and then everybody comes in after they're done and throws shit at you and calls you all these, you know, incredulous names and just.
All right. Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. I'm really kind of glad that he ended the way he did, because it would seem very Pollyannish to think that, you know, your speech in front of the classroom is going to make a difference. I actually think it's more accurate to reality. To show what he actually showed, where you're going to get up there and say that stuff. You might get a couple people on your side on that, but for the most part, everybody's just not going to hear what you're saying. They're just going to keep throwing stones. You just got to move forward, live your life, and do you, and act as a positive role model for those around you that will listen. You know.
So, what did you think of the song? I mean, just overall sense.
I mean, it's just kind of the same kind of thing with what we saw in the last one. I mean, it's a good song. A lot of lyrics in there that were, you know, on point. A lot of what we talk about on the show, you know, shit like that. But, you know, overall, pretty good song.
Good.
Pretty good song. Yeah.
Would you listen to it?
Yeah, I'd listen to it again.
Okay.
I don't know if I'd listen to it cranked up on my stereo system driving through the hood. You know
I do.
It might be the kind of thing to get me shot. But see what I did there?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. It's all about them stereotypes, guys.
It is.
Anyway, so what'd you think about that? Let us know in the comments below. If there's a song that you would like us to react to, please drop us a link in the comments section and we'll check it out. So, yeah. Until next time.
Peace.